Hi everyone, long time no see. I've missed being on here. I just wanted to give y'all a quick update. It's December 19th and it's the morning-ish. It's like 11 something Central Standard. And so December 5th was the last, God, is this crooked? Man. Okay, I think that's good. So it's been 2 weeks since my last day of work, and I feel like I have done shiza, like in terms of anything significant in creating my new life, or, you know, just kind of like moving on and finding the things that I want to do. And I think a part of that is just, I am very, very, very hard on myself. And I have like this, I've just noticed like in the last week or so, it's just like this other entity within me that's just a gatekeeper, and like just like the austerity and severity that this entity exists within me is just, it's very, very, very strong, because it's not, I think it probably helped me when I was younger, that kind of thing, but it's so outdated, it's archaic, it's like necrotic, it doesn't belong within me anymore because it's just running me down. And I think I think subconsciously it's always been there, and now it's like a conscious element within me, and it's like really, at least I'm aware of it, and I know that it's just not, especially at my age, I'm gonna be 47 here in, like, God willing, in 4 months, and it's just, I cannot live the rest of my life with that entity within me anymore. And it's like, I mean, I know all these things are like a lifelong process, but, I've read like, the internal family systems and that kind of thing, where I can transform that energy into like relieving that part of me of that duty, because what a duty to have, like who wants to have those responsibilities all the time, especially when it's no longer useful and you're not contributing in a positive way to the environment, So it's just really weird to have like enemy number one within you in a way, and that's not even a part of you. Like, it's not inherently a part of me. It was something that I think I internalized when I was younger from other people around me. Number one. Number two is that, so I have been going to therapy, and I've been doing like the bare kind of minimum over the last couple of weeks, like just the transitionary like paperwork, and like I did go to my dental appointment. I've been like doing that kind of stuff, like but another reason, or another thing that I wanted to talk about was just, I think like the last, like I would say like 6 weeks or more have been really, really difficult because of medicine change. And oh man, I don't think that this one is working for me. So I have to go through the process of, I interacted with my doctor, and I'm taking a lower dosage until I find a professional to go to that can really help me on my path to find like a medication that's better suited for me, or maybe no medication at all. That would be nice. But I'm not going to get off of it for now. I'm just using it at a lower dosage, which I think is helping me, which I think is like lessening those other negative symptoms that I was feeling. I've just had like zero energy. And on top of which, this is another thing, is like, okay, I'm very hard on myself. Gatekeeper, weird entity thing that I was talking about. And so like realizing that, I have just had the thought that I was just like, okay, the last 2 weeks I can just reframe how I want to look at it. Like a lot has happened, like in a very short amount of time. A lot of life changes. A job that I've had for almost 10 years is no longer there. This is a job that I had, like right as rehab was ending. And so right before then, I was in the doldrums in terms of just I didn't have any therapeutic help with, and I didn't even know that I had these things, like, severe depression, possible, like, and like unchecked OCD kind of thing, panic, all the trauma, just like a lot of unprocessed things. And so I was not working, and I was, felt like a burden on my parents, which I know I was. Like, I was in my early 30s. I had done a lot by then. Like, I had had my jobs, I had done my education, I had a social life, I had done all those things, but I just, all of a sudden, my body just shut down. Anyways, so there was a lot of things I would say coping mechanisms that, thanks to Gabor Mate, like, when I first heard him, I think it was like in 2009 or 2008, when I heard him on Amy Goodman's show, Democracy Now!, and when I heard him say for the first time, and it like stopped me in my tracks. Like, I sat in the car listening to what he said for the next 30 minutes, but it was the first time I heard about him, and she was interviewing him, I think about in the realm of hungry ghosts. And he basically said, when he was talking about his client population in Vancouver, where he had a clinic that was actually giving people like daily doses of heroin. He basically said, the way we've been approaching this, especially, he was talking about, I think, the indigenous population, but just, and like in America, the war on drugs. And he was like, we've been doing this wrong all along. And he was like, based on his own experience of treating his patients and stuff for like 30, 40 years at that point, he was saying how these coping mechanisms that are very damaging are not the problems, it's the solution. And so that has always stuck with me, because that was the first time that I've heard something being said about my own experience that was actually accurate. And especially from someone who's like brilliant and an MD, and someone who carries some weight because of his education, and because people are more likely to listen to people like that. And that includes me, for better or for worse. So it was the first time that, I heard accuracy from someone outside of myself on what I was experiencing. Anyways, so I think that during this time, I have had some huge trepidation about not having a schedule sort of enforced upon me by work, and just like having free time, because I'm a lot better now, of course, and I know I'm not the same person, and I know that my capabilities and trusting myself is way just astronomically much better than it was before. And I know myself a lot better. So I know I'm not gonna like hurt myself in the ways that I was hurting myself, thinking that, you know, just like feeling super lost and just kind of losing myself. And because that was a very, very dark time, and not in a good way, not in a like cool poetic way. It was a bad poetic way. And so I think that as I'm reviewing the last couple of weeks, like I've been feeling like I'm just not doing anything, you know, and I'm reframing it now to be like, that's okay. Like, and that's a big thing for me, to be like, okay, it's been 2 weeks, and I think you needed that. Like, I needed that just total shutdown, you know. And some of us, especially with these histories, you know, whatever it is, like whether it's perceived or if it's real, like I do feel like I'm a lot more hypersensitive to the world around me. And I think that's just my biochemistry. You know, I think that's just how I'm made. And I have to just take care of that instead of like belittling that part of me, which is my life experience. Instead of belittling it or judging it, I have to be like, let's take care of it. Like, this is, you know, this about you, and just take care of yourself in that way. So the last 2 weeks for me have just been a way to take care of myself in a way, just totally shutting down. But I have been also just like, I joined a 12-step for like, you know, relationship with food, that kind of thing. And it was from the end of January to like July. And then I continued with that kind of program on my own for a couple months. And then I think with the change in medication, that kind of really messed me up, and a couple of other things. I just, like, the issues I was facing outpaced my capability to really handle it really well on my own. You know, like just thinking, oh, well, you should just be able to power through it, because that's my default way of thinking anyway. So, yeah, so, but I knew getting on that kind of eating, like journey or whatever. I mean, I had 35 years of like extreme weight loss, weight gain, anorexic tendencies, binge eating. I think I've probably already talked about all this stuff. So none of that is going to be erased in 6 or 7 months. And I know that I'm going to go through periods of dipping into old coping mechanisms. I'm just hoping that over time I know that over time it'll decrease, because it's already decreasing. And now I'm at a point where I'm sort of ready to kind of move past these 2 weeks. Like, I feel like those 2 weeks have served what it needed to serve, and I can start looking at what I need to do in terms of job and career, making money, my hobbies, like just how I want to live my life, and how I want to direct my health, and how I want to just live in general, and who I want to be around, and who genuinely wants to be around me. And yeah, so I don't really know if this was actually an update. I don't know. But I just wanted to come on here, and ideally, like, I love doing videos. I think the editing part of it is just like really deterring me from doing it, because I feel like I should be like, you know, walking around or doing something interesting while I'm talking. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that eventually or not. I'm not really sure. So anyways, I just love making videos, and I watch all kinds of videos, and YouTube is my thing. So it's just fun taking part in it. And I hope y'all are all doing well and enjoying whatever holidays that you celebrate, and taking care of yourselves and giving yourself grace and having kind internal dialogue to yourself, because you deserve it. You always do, no matter what. So I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.